look like this.
Oh, man, what you want to make your hair look like that for?
Will you let the man tee you off? You yap worse than 6 barbers.
Welcome back to another episode of the Your Barber podcast. I'm your host, Matt Ballot, a.k.a. Matty Blaze on Instagram. If you're new to the show, we appreciate you hopping in. Please like and subscribe. It supports the show, supports me. This is episode 54. If you're new to the show, the Your Barber podcast, it was made to inspire and relate to the everyday barber, barbershop owner, or person. Today, I have a very special guest. My guest is also in the Salon Loft community. We're rocking the sweet life out. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Gregory Tahir Woods. There he is.
What up?
How's it going today, Tahir? How you doing, man?
So far, so good. Got a couple things to do around the house, and I'm in school full time, so I got a couple papers I got to turn in by midnight. Life is good.
Papers. Oh man, that's bringing me back. That's bringing me back. Today's your day off.
I take Mondays, Tuesdays off while I'm in school.
You
Yeah,
know
Sundays,
what I mean?
Mondays.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay. That's kind of my schedule too. I kind of take off 3 days, go 4 straight. It's kind of hard to think about going back to 5 days at this point. Sometimes I crank it up for the holidays or whatever. It's here and there, but man, to just be regular 5 day a week again, it's kind of tough to swing these days.
Yeah. How many hours do you work on your 4 days?
So it depends when my daughter's in school and out of school. Once again, I mean, that's the beauty of the suite. You know, I typically leave. I work 9 to 5. You know, I try to be out of there by 5 so I can get to the aftercare by 6. But Saturday, I'm 9 to 6. If my daughter's at school, I'm 9 to 6. So Wednesday through Saturday. Eventually would love to get out of the Saturdays, but it's just you kind of got to do it for a while. I'm in year 1 in the suite, so definitely year 1. I'm working Saturday.
This your first time working in suites?
Yeah, man, it's my first time in there. I've enjoyed all levels of barbering, but this has kind of been my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, man?
I've been doing it for about 9 years. 9.
The suite for 9 years or barbering?
Suite. Well, I've been barbering for about 25, 26 years.
Damn, man, you've been in it.
And then I grew up in the industry. So my mom's a hairstylist. She has a beauty supply and beauty salon in Pennsylvania. I have about 4 or 5 aunts and uncles that are in the industry. Every summer spent in the barbershop or the salon, sweeping the floor, shampooing hair, taking out the trash, listening to the conversations.
That's awesome.
I didn't want to do it. I thought I didn't want to do it. I did go to art. No. I'm an artist also, so I wanted to go to art school, and my mom convinced me to get my license so I could make money while I was in college the first time. And I just got popular as a barber and started dropping classes and picking up clients, and before you know it, I was a full-time barber.
Okay. Well, we're going to hop into your background a little bit more here in a second, but that's kind of cool how you said you didn't want to do it. And I feel like that's kind of the way it goes. My barber school owner, you know, she had, you know, my barber school owners, it was a husband and wife type deal. And their 2 kids, I feel like didn't want to be in it, especially, you know, their daughter. And now I see like their daughter's like doing it. And I'm like, man, everyone eventually in that world at least dips their toe in, especially if it's a family business type thing. And yeah, I mean, it's special, man. It opens up all these doors. One of the things I want to talk about. So I always have an opening segment, sort of an icebreaker of sorts. It's called Just an Observation, right? I'm always kind of every scenario in the barbershop. I'm always kind of like, this is podcast material, 100%, right? So I was thinking this week I've had a lot of clients that, you know, there's some emergency Zoom meeting while they're in the chair. How do
Mm-hmm.
you
Get
know,
those all the
the
time.
Zoom meeting etiquette's kinda interesting, right? Like, you know, you kinda have to be watching their phone over their shoulder, like
Yep.
like, if they're in it, you're in it too, so you kinda gotta be like, you gotta know whether they're on mute or not. You're like you're like, "Okay, they're muted, let's get
Right.
after it with the
Hurry up and get
angry
some
stuff."
clicker work in. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just gotta pull that thing away real fast as soon as they're and
Uh-huh.
it's like, "Alright, let's switch to shear work. Let's hit them with the razor or something. Let's" So,
Yeah.
how do you kinda play that? Do you have any kind of policies or you just kinda
I know which clients are gonna be in a Zoom. Like they always, for some reason, schedule their haircut when they have to have a Zoom with their boss. It's like, okay,
Right,
why now? Why put me under that kind of
right.
pressure?
100%. I mean, during the week,
um,
to get clients is big too, so, like, during the
yeah,
week,
and
it's like this happens.
we're in Midtown, so it's like we're surrounded by people who are in business of some sort. Um,
100%.
I just usually I just cut hair and like if I have them like signal me if they need me to like pull back, so they can say
Yeah.
something real quick. But for the most part, they'll like mute themselves and they're not on camera. So um been pretty good at that. If anything, I forget to turn my music down for 'em. So that's
Uh,
usually my
yeah,
biggest issue.
and it is right, you do rock out with some music sometimes. You definitely gotta be aware of that. Yeah, I'm, like, grabbing the
Mhm.
remote, turning the TV off, I'm like, "Oh, shit, oh, shit." Half the time, they
Yeah,
don't even tell me. They just hop in, unmute it, and I'm just like, "Oh, dude, you gotta give me a
yeah,
heads up."
yeah, yeah. And
So,
I
it's a
also hate
very
when
yeah.
I hate when they have to like they book you and then right after they have to get to a meeting. It's like, don't put
Mm,
pressure on me to like get you like this. You made your own schedule. Don't make this my thing. This is
right. They show up 5, 10 minutes late, "Hey, I got a meeting, I gotta make sure I'm outta here by noon." "What?"
exactly. Yeah.
It's like,
So
"Jeez Louise, man." I try to
this isn't
be
Supercuts.
right, no, yeah, this isn't 15-minute haircuts, like, this isn't I try to make sure I'm protecting my investments with my clients, right? Like, I'm
Mhm, mhm.
trying to always be on time, be consistent, provide a consistent service, and I have to make sure my brain's right, my the environment's correct, and we can control that in the suites, you know what I mean? Like, that's what's big, you
Yeah.
know? It seems like all the big wigs in our industry on Instagram especially are talking about optimizing and 30-minute haircuts and efficiency and how fast can we get them out for, and I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, man, this is a total barbershop owner mentality. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
For me,
I feel like
for me, I
barbers,
think
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say for me, I focus more on the experience, and I think that's what separates me from a lot of people. One, I'm in a private suite. They don't get that a lot. A lot of
Right.
times, people, like I said, we have working class people, people who are in business. They have to deal with people all day, so that private one-on-one time is probably for a lot of people the only time that they get where they can just have all the focus on them and not have to put focus on anybody else because a lot
Right.
of them have families when they get out of work. So they go from having to deal with coworkers, deal with traffic, deal with being in the public, and then having to go home to deal with their spouses or their children or whatever. And that moment they have with us is like they're only 45 minutes to themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to
You
rush
have to
them through that.
tailor the experience to each client. Right.
Yeah.
So some
Yeah.
clients like to talk, some clients like it quiet so they can relax and finally get that time, like you said, away from their families or, that's their time in the chair. You gotta
Hmm.
tailor it to them. And that's
Hmm.
interesting you said that because I've literally said that my whole barber career. Like if there's ever a time I'm working in a barber shop, and this is big for all barbers listening, like you always want to separate yourself. You always want to show up, do the work, do everything that's required, but there's got to be a certain type of way you separate yourself from everyone else. And I mean that's what makes the suite special. I mean, you tailor it. It's a very customized, environment that you're dealing with.
Yeah. And I think that with that being said, customizing it, you have to be true to yourself and your aesthetic and who you are, because that's going to draw in the type of clients that want that. You know what I mean? But if you play in sports and you're not into sports, and all you're going to get is people who like sports, is like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, so you really have to, like you said, tailor it to the client, but also match it to who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I like
Being
to have
yourself.
me and my clients. Me and my clients, we like to talk about books, and we have deep conversations and talk about mental health a lot. That's what I'm going to school for, by the way. I want to get my doctorate in clinical psychology. But
That's beautiful. That's cool.
yeah, so
We're in the realm already, man. I mean,
yeah. So my space is almost like a therapy session for a lot of clients. I could tell when they actually, as soon as I put the cape on them, it's like it all comes out. It's like, especially if you
I'm
walk
the
past
same
my
way,
room
man.
and the door. If you walk past my room and the door is closed, then that means that the client like got some deep shit that they want to talk about.
Right. Now, sometimes I'm like, let me shut the door. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have this thing open at all. No, I'm right there with you. Like, connecting's everything, and being authentic. Being your authentic self's everything. Like, they're coming in more for just the haircut. They're coming in for for you, the connection, that relationship's intact. I mean, sometimes they're talking stuff they don't talk with anyone, like the things that we're talking about, with they don't tell their spouse. It's a very intimate environment we're in, and sharing secrets, we're sharing tips, advice. And yeah, no, it's a therapy session. It always is. Every time my clients are dealing with something in their life, I'm just I'm there to help support however I can. Like, it's funny being yourself, talking about that. Like, you still have to show up and do the work, right? You still have to have all the work ethic, all the baseline things. But that's the beauty of art. Like, like we said with that 30-minute haircut argument is always coming from a barbershop owner. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like, we get it. It's slow season. Your barbers aren't making you the same money they were making. You're trying to light a fire under their ass. But, barbers like us, we can see through that conversation. It's like, they're just making content. We get what this is. They're trying to create a conversation in the comments. We got it. But, you can't always put a business plan on art, right?
Right. How do you with that mindset? Like, how do you maintain a relationship with your clients? You just spin them in and out the chair, like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had some of my clients since I got here to Atlanta, like 11 years. They've been with me through the whole process. Like, I remember one time I was in between shops and I was cutting out of my house. I have the same clients that are still with me. I built a relationship with those clients. So it's like we've watched each other grow. I've seen some that started out as freshmen and who are now executives. I have a client who I've been cutting his hair since he was 4. And now he's about to get ready for his like school dances and stuff. I'm like,
oh man, it's crazy to see that growth, right? Yeah, like,
so it's
I
like,
was working down the street at Anguished, and there's no kids, and I finally got a kid haircut for like since the first time since like 2022. I've cut like a 7-year-old, and I was like excited. I was like, wow, this brings me back. Like, I'm not in love with cutting kids' hair, but like, it's like you said, they grow up. I was told that in my very first barbershop. Like, I know you hate these kid haircuts and shit, man, but like, these kids eventually grow up, and it's a beautiful thing to see kind of them blossom. They're seeing you progress, and you're able to maintain that relationship. But that's one question I had for you though. With these people, they might be making a drive. Some of these clients have been with you for that long too. Like, you've maintained the relationship. So, like, I've lost a few clients already since being in the suites with just relocation, right? And
okay.
that's always like a thing. I'm kind of like, I'm thinking like 10 years from now, am I even gonna have the same group of guys that I got now that are coming in, or is there
It'll
gonna be a whole new rotation? Like, have you seen that kind of develop through the years?
um yeah, yeah. Because I mean, luckily I stayed in the West Midtown area, so I was able to keep a lot of clients.
Right.
I think for me, what causes me to lose clients mostly is not necessarily the move, but the increase in cost. So like as product prices go up, booth rent prices go up, you know, gas prices go up. So does my price have to go up. And also by me taking classes and going to hair shows and growing as a barber, becoming more valuable, my
Yeah,
price has to go
your
up,
value is
which
going up.
causes
Yeah.
yes, so that causes people to fall off, which is fine. You know, they usually they usually come back. They go out and see what's out there, and then they realize
Right.
they're not going to get what I offer, and then they come back. They might complain a little bit about the price, but I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah. That's a good feeling. That's one of those barber
Apple has
victories.
never Apple. I can't go into Apple store and be like, well, when I got the iPhone 8, it used to be.
No. That's the thing, like, I never understand why clients get too hung up over price, especially when it's a minimal increase, especially when you know, especially when they're walking in with a pair of shoes that are, some exclusive rare $300, and it's like, dude, come on,
Right,
like, look at your feet,
right,
man. Look at what
right.
you're
You
wearing.
just I just watched you spend at least $1,000 out and about on Sunday Fun Day, and now you have an issue with paying $5 more for a
Yeah,
haircut.
seriously. For something that you're gonna wear anyway, that you're always wearing.
Right,
So,
right. When you
yeah,
take off all of that, guess what you got left? The haircut.
right. So yeah, I mean that's how I treat it too. I mean, like, back to the 30-minute haircut, like I treat my clients like an investment, right? Like
Mhm.
I like to zero in on each individual and make it very, you can charge a higher price and do, under 20 haircuts a day. Like, people don't want to do 20 haircuts a day. Newsflash. We don't
Right,
want to do
right,
15 to 20 haircuts a day. Like, let's keep it
right,
like my sweet spot's
right,
that 8 to 12 range. Like, if I'm in the 8 to 12, I'm chilling. I'm cool. I feel good. I'm
right,
protecting my
right.
investment by extending that 30-minute haircut to 45 or an hour based on the situation, you know?
Yeah, and we're human beings. We don't we shouldn't have to overwork ourselves just to
We don't
walk
got
out.
it every day. We're not gonna show
Right,
up hitting on all cylinders every single day, right? Like, it's just we're human,
right.
and I make them understand that too. Dude,
Mhm,
I had
mhm.
2 weeks ago, I don't know if I caught you, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Man, I, like, poisoned myself. I overate something we made in the crock pot that was, you always make way too much shit in the crock pot, right? And my wife doesn't do leftovers, so we're throwing it out, and I'm, like, doing the James Harden celebration as I'm, like, dumping it out, and so
Oh, wow.
I woke up at 4 a.m. hiccuping, and I still gotta, like, do my shit. I still gotta bring my daughter to school, and I'm like, "I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm already out. Let's try to make it to the suite. It's been slower on Wednesdays. I'm booked out on the Wednesday. Let's give it a shot." And I did 3 haircuts, profusely apologizing during 2 of them because I had to run out, right? Run
Yeah.
out, run back in, and
I think I seen
yeah,
you pass by my room a few times that day.
yeah, yeah, dude, it was yeah, you probably saw me like, "Bleh," like, dude, like, I remember my dad growing up saying shit like, "I can't afford to get sick." Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so I kinda, like, I have to put on display how fucked up I am and how I'm making the effort still for you guys, and, you
Mhm,
know
mhm.
and then I threw in the towel. I had to call, reschedule everyone, but what's your kinda take on that with, like, you're not feeling the best. Are you gonna try to push through, or are you gonna kinda try to maintain that long term? How do you play it? I know it's situational, it's very nuanced, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I usually try to push through as best as I can. If I can get there, then I think that I'll be okay. But if like I'm in bed and I can't even get out of bed, then I'm definitely going to text everybody like, hey. So, and luckily, my clients are usually pretty understanding when I have to call out because they know I don't do that. So
Yeah, dude. I
and
see you in there every
nor,
day busting your ass. They know too.
yeah,
When something's going on, they're like, okay, he must be really, right?
right, yeah. Exactly. Um, but yeah, and also my motivation is my bills. So I'm like, okay, this
Right.
car payment is due
Yeah, there's nothing like
in a
firing a
few
light,
days.
light under your ass like barbering because we don't work, we don't get paid
I
in
tell
most
people that all the
cases.
time. Yeah, I tell people all the time. I'm like, I don't get paid vacations. I don't get, I don't PTO
No,
or any of that other stuff. You know what I mean?
like our vacation
My
is busting our ass a little harder right before the vacation,
right.
so we can
I
take the
don't get a
vacation.
401k. All that. I have to do all that stuff on my
Right?
own. So
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So let's hop back into your background, my man. Let's start at the very beginning. Let's go. Where were you born? Number one. I'm curious.
I'm from Philly. I born
I thought
West
so.
Philadelphia.
I saw the Philly
Born and raised.
jacket when the Eagles won the
Oh.
Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's a Philly guy, but so I'm down with Philly. I was from near that area. I grew up in West
Okay.
Virginia, but I
Okay.
grew up like north central West Virginia. It was more like Pittsburgh, closer there. I don't play out the West Virginia stereotypes. That's for sure. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I grew up in West Philly. Went to the same high school as Will Smith.
In
Oh, okay.
West Philadelphia,
Interesting.
born and raised.
Yeah, like I said, I grew up in the industry, so um, I grew up around barbers and in hair industry. Like my mom has a beauty supply store, so I know all of the distributors around the Atlanta area, around the New York area. Um, yeah. What else you want
What
to
was growing up like, dude? What did you have any siblings? Did you
know? Yeah, I got a brother who was also a barber. I got two sisters who want nothing to do with the hair industry, and
okay. Do you have an older
a
brother or
bunch of
younger
nieces.
brother?
I'm the oldest. Yeah,
You're the
I'm.
oldest. Okay, so you kind of set the
Yeah,
tone. I'm sure maybe
yeah.
with the sisters, you saying no first, they're like, yeah, we're not doing it either.
Yeah, they're just not interested. I don't know. But my one sister, she's more the business side. Like my mom's we're trying to open a hair school right now, so my sister's gonna be the one dealing with all the like paperwork and all that stuff like that. And she wants me to
Okay.
come in and teach. And yeah,
That's cool though, kind of, full circle, kind of helping out. And that's a special thing where you're able to help out family and, the art is in the family and that hustle is always ingrained in you guys. And yeah, my dad was a business owner too, but he sold like shoes and it was like a sporting goods kind of situation. So yeah, always got to see like those hard days where, we're carrying shit upstairs in the snow and yeah, those things are instilled in you. My mom worked
yeah.
12-hour days, like,
I think that's
just
where I get that from because seeing my mom works so much. Like she's 63 and she still goes to the shop every day and she's still like thinking about ways to make more money and grow her empire and like it's just in me. Like I don't know any other way. Like um
yeah.
I j- I feel weird like sleeping in and not doing anything. Like if I'm not like cutting
Yeah.
hair, like I said, I'm in school or I'm working out or something. You know what I mean? I can't do
Yeah, it's
nothing.
hard to stop. It is hard to stop. Yeah, like, I mean, we're always, like, tinkering things and trying to adjust things, whether how minimal it is. That's one
Yeah.
of the things once I find a nice little groove, I try to make sure I sit in it for a while, you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
really try to, like, you know I don't know if it's, like, I don't wanna better myself or something, but sometimes I'm just like, "Why do I have to do all this extra shit? Like, why do I have to go to shear class to learn some new advanced way to hold my" like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I just sit in my fine little happy place I'm in right now. That's what barbering is, I feel like. Find your happy place.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah.
Marvy Marv every other day, yap about whatever. Like,
Right.
Do what makes you happy. Have that baseline work ethic and skill level, and especially once you start getting the clientele, like start to get happier. Start to do things that are making you happy. Don't burn out. Don't do things that are going to stress you out more. I feel like in my brain, I'm handling anxiety more than anything, right? Like,
yeah.
do you go? How do you kind of like juggle anxiety? Because sometimes, like, one of the very few moments, something like Saturday, I was at work in the morning and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm feeling good today. I can't believe I did this. I'm happy I did this. And like, yeah, like that feeling is crazy, but it's hard to get there without kind of having all these worries and fears and things like that. So do you kind of, even to this day, juggle with that at all? Because I mean, you're deep in the game now.
Feel
right?
I feel like that's it's just part of it. I just feel like that just maybe I don't know. It's something. It might be something wrong with me to just feel like, oh, this is normal. To feel like one wrong move, everything could fall apart.
Yeah, like you something went wrong in the shop that day. You're like thinking about in the shower. You're like, oh God, why did I do that? Like, like it's the shit that keeps us up at night.
I think it's kind of, in our industry, and I'm sure other industries are similar, but I feel like when something goes wrong, you have to just get comfortable with pivoting. Like you can't lose your shit because you have to pivot. You know what I mean? Like for instance, if the power goes out in the shop, it's like your brain is like, okay, am I going to have to cancel the rest of my appointments? Where's my flashlight? Good thing these are battery operated,
Right. Dude, so when that happened the other day in the suites, right? That was the week I got sick, right? So that was 2 days after I was, like, so I'm like 90% feel better the next day, right? At least my body's not rejecting everything. So like, I'm drained on Thursday, get through it. And on Friday, I'm kind of like, all right, I think it's time. I can drink coffee again, maybe, but I'm still like depleted and I overdid the coffee. Right. So I'm having a fucking panic attack. I'm like bouncing off the wall. And my second time client coming in, who's this LA guy with like a fake accent, right? Coming in and he sits down in the chair and I'm like, all right, let's get after this. Right. Boom, the power shuts off right when he sits down. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And he's like, I suppose it's better we didn't get started already, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, don't worry, it's coming back. I mean, it never does this longer than a couple minutes. It'll be back. And like 5 minutes go by. We're still kind of then it finally came on. Then I got through it. But I mean, I'm trying to, especially those new clients, you want to create your best self for them. So they keep coming back, and then you build that trust level. Then it's all good after that. But yeah, dude, I'm an anxiety case. I have to like make sure these things that consistently work with me, calming me down. Make sure you incorporate those things, whether it's meditation, stretching. I used to have a big morning routine, but
I make sure that I go to the gym on my off days. So I go to the gym Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I signed up for Class Pass, so I'm gonna try to get back into doing some like yoga. I like hiking. I really do try to take care of myself because all the things that I'm connected to are intense. Like being a business owner to me is an intense business. Like even little things like clients showing up late. They're like, oh, it's just 15 minutes. But it's like, yeah, you plus the other 3 people who have been 15 minutes.
Yeah, you just domino fucked me, dude.
Right.
These dominoes are going to
2
fall
or 3
all
hours
day
from
now.
now. I'm right. 2 or 3 hours from now where everybody else decides to show up on time. Now I'm looking like I can't keep up with the day.
And it's kind of hard to not let them know, hey, I'm in this situation because of so-and-so, not because of me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if
you
they're in the room,
you don't love doing that, but
like,
sometimes you gotta let them know.
Yeah. Listen, if the person's in the room, I'm like, sorry, I'm late. He was 15 minutes late.
You let them sit down too. You let your next guy like soak in it. Like, I do notice that sometimes. I'm like, man, he lets
Yeah.
the next guy in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of your
So they
people
can
know
see
each other at this point too, with
Yeah.
even the
Yep, they
past.
do. I have clients who met in my shop and they're like hanging out and I'm also like a networker. So I have a client who he has a moving company, and you probably see him. He's always in my suite. He has a moving company, and I pair with clients who need, like, he's moved offices, he's moved houses. I've had clients who are therapists. I hook them up with patients, or what do you call them, patients? I guess they're patients. Like, I'm just a networker. I'm like, hey, this is, everybody's the top whatever in Atlanta too for me. Like, hey, this is Atlanta's top,
Right.
insurance claims person.
I know it's all kind of standard stuff, but he's a top guy. Trust me. That's funny, dude.
So yeah, I like
All
pairing
right.
people together. So
No, that's big. No, connecting. I mean, they appreciate that. That's part of our gig too, to let people know, we learn the world through our clients, and we should be able to, let them know that information too. So that's big, connecting people. So back to your background, like what you said, you were more into art growing up. Like, what do you think that came from?
I don't know, because like I come from a big family. My dad
Yeah.
and my mom both have 11 brothers and sisters. So, like, while my cousins would be out, throwing the football or playing basketball, I would be in the corner, like, with my sketchbook drawing. My grandma got tired of me, like, drawing on the walls, drawing on the toilet paper, ripping out all the paper towels and drawing on them.
That's like my
So she
daughter.
put me in art. She put me in art school, and it was probably one of the best things she could have did. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I feel like as a parent, you really should take the time to, like, see who your children are and really invest in that. You know what I mean?
Big time.
And push them also, because it was times when I didn't want to get up on Saturday morning to go to art school, but I had to. It was like, in my family, if you say you want to do something, this is what you're going to do,
Yeah.
and you're going to complete it. And
No, that's big.
I went from
Once you commit, you got to follow through.
Yeah, which is partly why I moved the way I move now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I create these big goals for myself, and then I make sure that I get it done by any means necessary. And I eliminate all of the distractions, people, places, and things. I'm like, listen, focus. I need to focus on. But anyway, back to the art thing.
Yeah.
So I went to Saturday art classes in the beginning, and then I kind of made a name for myself in the city. Like, I was winning all the kids' art competitions around the city.
No way.
Then I got into art summer camp, and I met a lot of my friends who are still my friends today, like around elementary school, summer art camp era. And then we all started taking art classes on the weekends together. Then it was time for high school. Philadelphia has two major art schools, Kappa, which is Creative and Performing Art School, and that's where Boys to Men went. And then you have Overbrook, and that's where Will Smith went. So I Overbrook.
Where did the Roots go? Where did Black Thought and Questlove go?
I don't know.
You were making me think about them. I feel like every great artist, like, just somehow went to art school at one point. You know what I mean? I'm just like, man,
probably. I mean, I don't know if Atlanta is the same, but I know Philadelphia was really big on cultivating youth art. Like, it was like really big on that.
Okay, that's big.
And so, like, my high school was like, the first 3 floors were like East Side High, and then you get to like the 4th and 5th floor, and it was like you hear violins playing and you see fine art on the walls. It was like completely different. Like, downstairs was like the hood, and then when you get to it was like people playing harps in the hallway.
Right, a way out, man, a way out.
And so after that, I wanted to go to the Art Institute in Philadelphia, but my mom's boyfriend at the time, he's like, "Yeah, there's no money in art. you need to go to school to learn something in computers. And I'm like, so I went to school for graphic design. Probably would have been a good thing to focus on, but I was so like set on what I wanted to study.
An
So
artist
I
says
dropped.
what? Says, you know, forget you. I want to do what I'm doing. Like, right?
Right.
Artists
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
stubborn
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah. I've been pretty strong-willed since early age.
That's
And
a good
then
way to put it.
and
That's a better way.
and then I joined the military and lived in
No way,
Japan.
dude. What didn't you do?
Yeah,
That's
joined the
crazy.
military, did that, lived in Japan for a couple of years. I was on a
Wow.
small ship, so we traveled a lot. Like I've been to Singapore, Saipan, Guam, Thailand, Phuket, Korea, Australia, a lot of places in the Middle East. And then after that, I got dropped off in Seattle. That's where I decided to like sign my discharge papers. Stayed there for a few years. That was the first time in my life. Okay, I was about 21, 22. First time in my life where I was like on my own. Like nobody was telling me what time to eat, or like I
Right.
had no place to go to just go get food. Like I had to do this on my own, which
Yeah.
was a culture shock. Like I remember the day. I kept walking around all day and I'm like, why am I so tired? So I kept taking naps. And then finally I got to a friend's house and we ate. And I was like, oh, I was hungry. That's what hunger feels like.
There's no outer force telling you, "Did you eat yet? Did you eat yet?" That's
Right.
gotta be you. You said you were 22 when that was?
I was about 22. Because
That's a
prior
good
to, I
age.
mean, you in the military, yeah, the military, they always got meals ready for you, especially on the ship. It was always food available. And
Yeah.
then prior to that, living with family, I always ate. So that was crazy. And that was also like my wild side, my like YOLO. You only live once, like
Right, you gotta
just
get it out.
wow.
That's when to do it. That is when you do it.
Then after
That's
that, I moved to
the
Miami.
22 to 25 range. That's 25, you're
Right.
finally like you meet a crossroads. You're like, "Am I gonna be a piece of shit or am I gonna actually do something else here?" Like
That's exactly right. Like at 25, that's when I realized YOLO wasn't real. I was like,
Right. Right. 100%.
like my parents, like I remember the phone call. I called like, Mom, Dad, I need money. I need help getting my rent up. Da, 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 da. And my dad was
Right.
in the background like, we're not sending you any money. And I was like, like my throat got dry. I was like, like, what are you talking about? How am I supposed to survive? My dad's like, you'll figure it out. I'm like, oh shit.
Right.
This is adulthood, I guess. Okay. And
Do you think there was
yeah, I did that.
value in the way you were raised to kind of get yourself out of that like situation that where you're like, fuck, I need a little help, but I kind of put myself in this situation. I gotta go back to my values here, like, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think by my dad showing that sort of tough love, because I was making good money. I was working, I was doing a lot. Like I was in school, I was going to the Art Institute down in Miami. I was working at cutting hair on campus. And then I ended up getting into a shop on Biscayne Boulevard called Cuts. And Cuts was the first shop that actually taught me like structure in the barbershop. Like the shops I worked at in Philly and all the other shops I ever worked at were kind of like hood shops. They like,
Right.
this is the
Which is good
uniform
to
we're wearing.
experience. It's good to
Yeah.
kind of see it, you know, it's good to kind of sit in that for a second.
Yeah. The shops and the other shops, the hood shops taught me like hustle because it was like
Right.
dog eat dog
Go,
world. It
go,
was
go.
like hustle. Right.
Yeah.
If you don't get these clients, you had to stand out front and like get clients because if somebody
Right.
else was going to take them, and if you showed up late for a client, somebody was probably going to have them in in their chair.
Right.
So when I got the Cuts, it was like
You said
and I
that
was
was Miami?
Miami, yeah.
Well, how'd you get asked Seattle? So walk me through getting asked
Seattle,
Seattle there.
Seattle, I was kind of like I just got kind of out of control. I was like,
Need a new start.
just doing way too much. And actually, in between moving, I always regrounded myself back home. Like I would go back home, reground myself. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. And then so I went to Miami. Um, I remember when that decision happened. Me and my friends coming from the north, we went to Miami on a trip. We're on the beach. This is back when everybody was wearing long t-shirts and Timbs and everything like that. So we're on the beach and we got on these
Them
like long
franchise boys
t-shirts.
era.
Yeah, we got on long t-shirts,
Cap era.
Timbs, our hats backwards, and everybody's on the beach like look at us like, where are y'all from? I was like, what's
Y'all
going
Dipset or what? What's going on over here?
on? So we really got us some trunks and some wife beaters, and I would just be in Miami, and I was like, I'm gonna live here, and my friends are like, what? You're crazy, and I was like, no, I'm gonna move here, and then I just for the Institute Miami, or it had a long title. It was called the Miami International University of Art and Design. And when I got there, my academic advisor, she came in for the 2 cheek kiss, which in the North we don't do that. So I'm like, I thought this was business only.
Are you from Italy? What's going on?
I was like, okay. And so anyway, so yeah, that's how I ended up in Miami.
Okay.
Mm.
So let's talk about that environment a little bit. Like that you worked in the hood barbershop, you said a little bit. Like you want to talk about dog eat dog, right? Like it's
Mhm.
kind of the machismo, the like, it's kind of like a competitive thing. It gets a little crazy. Take it easy, Siri. All right. It's kind of like, yeah, and it's like, how do you kind of navigate through that a little bit with that competition, all of that, like, barbershop talk, all of that stuff. Like,
well, I'm kind of introverted, I think.
here we
I'm like
go. Here we
introvert,
go.
extrovert.
My man.
I am. And so luckily social media was beginning to thrive. So I was smart. I think I was kind of ahead of the game because I was like promoting myself through AOL and like promoting myself through what was it called? MySpace.
Yeah.
And all of those different things. And even today, most of my conversations on social media will end up with sending my link to them and like trying to get them in there.
Yeah.
And I
Goes
remember,
back to separating yourself.
yeah, I remember being in one of the shops and I always wonder like how I would get so many people into the shop. Even when I came to Atlanta, but we'll stay back there. But I would always wonder how I get all these people in the shops. And I was, I'm like, I just always tell people that I'm a barber and, I'm new Germantown and I'm looking for clients and da da da, And also starting out, I would always, if I put to you, I would give you your first haircut for free and then rebook them. And then I just maintain clientele that way who don't want a free haircut. But a lot of people are afraid to do free because they think that they're losing money, but it's really like an investment.
Yeah.
It's like you sacrificing however much you starting out with, $30, $40, $50, but then you're gaining $50 a week after that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We're in this for the long term. There's too many barbers that are in this for the short term. Like you have to play the long game. And that's what goes back to protecting your investment. Like I get a name I don't recognize on my books. I'm not getting them out in 30 minutes. I'm not speeding through like I can with some clients that I know. I don't know this guy. Like, I don't know if he's going to change the service. I don't know if the consultation is crazy. I don't know if he's crazy. Like, let's talk about that real quick. Like, the new client, there's always an issue, right? There's always an issue we have to fix with the new client.
Yeah.
Like, they've relocated. Someone fucked up their hair. They're just, they've grown tired of their old barber. And there's an issue, right? So it's very difficult to kind of handle all those things when they come introduce, you're trying to be yourself. You're trying to put your brand on display. And when they start talking about their old barber and what they didn't do or what they did wrong, and usually I'm
about
like,
10-15 minutes of them venting about their past situation, you're like,
right, that's
yeah,
never a
that's
good
great.
sign to me. That's always kind of like, man, this guy's gonna be doing the same shit to me
Same thing. Yeah.
next week or a couple weeks from now. So like, I'm always just kind of like, I never really like, oh, supercuts, fuck supercuts, bro. Like I'm just like, yeah, no, they kind of, they're in a situation where they kind of have to go. It's kind of the structure over there. So, it's hard. But yeah, dude, let's talk about your hair a little bit instead of shitting on everything that's prior.
Right. That's similar to what I do. They'll go on and on and on. And I said, now that you get out of your system, can we talk about your haircut?
Right. Like, dude, I would love to just shit on people all day with you, but let's see how we can get that beard straightened out. Like, let's see. Right.
Right.
So, yeah, that's always an interesting thing, dude. Like, but so moving on, what kind of placed you in Atlanta? What kind of ended up bringing you here?
Well, me and my mom it was like our thing to come down for the Bronner Brothers show. And we would come down for the summer show all the time. But my mom had got some foot surgery had done, and she couldn't come. And I had already had my ticket, and I came down anyway. But this time, I kind of explored Atlanta a little bit more instead of hanging out around the Bronner Brothers show. Right. And I was like, I'm going to move to Atlanta. And all I had in my pocket was $600. And I sold everything. Well, I gave away most of the stuff that I had in my apartment. I had my dog. I had my Jeep Cherokee. I packed up as much as I could. And I just got on. Well, I told everybody when I came back, I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta. They're like, no, you're not. What are you doing? You don't know anybody down there. You don't have any family, any friends, any clients. Da, da, da. I said, I just want to get out of here because I felt like where my mom lives is called the Poconos. I don't know if you're familiar with the Poconos.
Yeah.
She moved out of Philadelphia to the Poconos. But the Poconos is like very like small town. Everything closes at 6. Like it was just not for me. And I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta. And everybody's like, no, you're not. I packed up my stuff, saved up as much as I could in 2 weeks, which was only like $600. And I got on the road and just had a long conversation with God. Like, listen, I'm really taking this chance. I'm really just off the edge here and hoping that I could fly. And my transmission went in North Carolina.
Oh, no.
So
already
I had
started.
to use, right. And so I'm on the side of the road and it's starting to get dark. And I'm like, okay, God, do you want me to go back? Do you want me to stop here? Like, what do you want me to do? And so I remembered that I had a cousin who lived in South Carolina who has a junk car lot. And I told him that I was in North Carolina, told him the situation. He was like, oh, I got a homie in North Carolina with a tow truck. He's going to tow you to his house, and then I'll come and get you the next day. But luckily, I had one homie in Atlanta, and he drove to North Carolina to get me. And I came down. He was going to be my roommate. So he came down and got me, and we drove to Atlanta. I didn't have a vehicle. I was in Stockbridge. The shop that I worked at, luckily, I was in, like I said, on a lot of social media. And so I was in like a lot of barber groups, and I used to do hair shows and stuff like that, design competitions. I'd done a few times. And I was really close with the major league barbers. And are you familiar with them?
I remember them, yeah.
Yeah, and so
they
in one of the groups, somebody put me onto a shop in West Midtown, where Sean and Tina took me in right away at work, and I was in Stockbridge, and my first client they got me was at 8:00 in the morning. I had to catch a cab, $90 cab.
So how far away for the people? Explain how far away Stockbridge is from West Midtown?
Well, Google Maps, prior to adding GPS, because this is before I think GPS was included into
This is
the
like
map
the
systems.
Garmin.
Yeah. It just said 30 minutes. It was like, oh, a 30-minute drive. But anybody who knows Atlanta traffic, you cannot get from Stockbridge to Atlanta in 30 minutes, especially during rush hour.
Yeah.
So they're calling me and they're like, we set you up with a client and you're disrespecting our business. And I'm like,
Oh
I
man.
promise you, it's not me, I promise. And so
Right.
anyway, I got
Now
there.
I know. Now I know.
I got there and I kind of took off because one of the barbers in there, he's like, yo, I hope you know that we don't share clients around here and you're going to have to get your clientele up if you want to stick around. Da, da, da. And I was like, I looked at him, I was like, I got this. Don't worry.
Okay, relax.
And, you know, so I got into all the apps and I just like really like promoted myself. Like, okay, so side note, I'm gay for your audience who don't know. And I got into like all the gay apps and I have a pretty decent body. So I posted my body on the profile picture. And then when they click on it, they'll click inside and say, hey, I'm a new barber in West Midtown.
The setup. You got him.
And I was brand new here. So obviously everybody wants to know who the new person is. And of course, I've gotten some people who got my chair and like, oh, you should go have dinner with me. And da, 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 da. And I'm like, listen, all
That
I
could
focus
be
on is getting money.
right. You kind of started something there. Kind of hard to get out
I'm
of.
like, only thing I'm focused on is building up my clientele. So if you could get me 2 clients, I could really appreciate that. And it
Right.
worked. And so like my first week there, the same guy who was like, oh, you gotta get your clientele up, da 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 da. By Friday, I was like like it was like mad people in the in the waiting area just waiting on me. And so I'm telling him, I'm like, hey, since you're sitting there cleaning your clippers, you mind taking a few of these people for me? Because I'm not gonna get them out of here tonight. And
dude, that's
I
a
just went with the
smart,
conversation.
honestly, I mean, that's a nice way to start over in a new, in a new spot. You kind of crack the code. Man, I mean, just the savviness you've had with like just coming up with new ways and building clientele. Like, yeah, I always
Yeah.
said like, because I've moved around too. Like, I cut hair in Arizona, Pennsylvania, now here. Every time you start over, it's like a shock to the system, right? It's like, oh man, what am I gonna do? Like, is this place it? Am I gonna have to like, what am I gonna have to do here? And it's just like, I'm a gamer from the 90s. So I'm just like, it's like stubbing your toe on your Super Nintendo or something. You're like, oh, I just started all over. But it's like, well, I know how to kind of get back to those upper levels. I just got to do the same thing I did then. And so that's kind of how I play it. Like, you got here before, you can do it again. You might have to
I still have
reinvent
a lot of the same clients too. So it worked,
There you go.
because once you get them in, for me, the key to keeping them is just being authentically who you are. And
right. And they'll tell
I've softened up a little bit. Yeah, I softened up a little bit because when I first got here, I was straight from the north, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're so aggressive. You just say what's in your mind." And I'm like, well, God put it there. I thought that's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Right. It's like God put the cousin or whatever with the junkyard. Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm just there for a reason.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So.
Do you want new clients these days? Do you have the space? Are you kind of like apprehensive with a newer client at times now that you're kind of, I'm sure that you're kind of locked in a lot of ways.
I am. And luckily a lot of my clients, they'll book out. So just want to make sure they come, which I encouraged for them. But StyleSeat will fill up my empty spots with new clients because I've been their top barber for a few years.
Okay, so
there's a criteria.
StyleSeat to the audience that doesn't know. So StyleSeat's a booking service, right?
Yeah, it's a booking service. It was the first booking service that I've been with. I've been with them for many, many, many years. I've seen them evolve into what they are today. A lot of people like other booking apps. I mean, really about what works for you. I don't push any over the other. But with StyleSeat, they have like little competitions through the year, like an award moment, like the barber who brings in the most clientele or has the highest star rating, and like there's a criteria. Like, so I have like the highest star rating, I have the highest through the app payment, I have the least amount of cancellations, and it's one more part to it, but I can't remember. But I always rank high, and so they were giving me Barber of the Year for the Atlanta area, or I think for the whole app. I don't know, but
Nice.
and it dropped one year, and I was like confused. I'm like, I got all the same criteria, and they're like, well, your star rating went down. I'm like, how? When I know all of my clients give me 5 stars, and they're like, they highlighted this one client who only gave 4 stars, and so I'm like, yo, why would you give me 4 stars and you sit in my chair every week? Like, tell me what do I need to do to get 5 stars out of you? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I never give 5 stars. It's just not something I do. And I'm like, you know, you don't have to do a star rating at all.
Right.
Like, you could just
Like, dude,
not
get
do
5
it.
stars or get the fuck out. Like, what are you doing giving 3, 4 stars? Like, come on, man. Like, who
Right.
does that?
And this client wanted a whole lot of extra stuff. Like, he wanted me to like do like a little hair replacement
It's
thing.
always
So
it's always
I would like trim his hair down, right? And I would take the hair that I trimmed down, and then I would make it into like little hair fibers. Do you know how to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mess
So I would
with
take
hair
the
fibers. I'm
clipper.
not a big enhancement guy, but I've dabbled.
Yeah, so I would take his own hair, and then I would take my clippers, and then I would like file his hair down with the
Interesting.
clippers to make his very own hair fibers, and then I would fill in his light spots with his own hair. This is like a whole extra 30, 45 minutes I'm adding to his service. And he would give me 4 stars, and I'm like, listen, I told him, I was like, listen, if you can't appreciate me as a barber, I don't know if we could be a barber in a client relationship. And so I
Yeah.
cut him off. And then like a few weeks later, my rating went back up. And he's texting me. He's like, "Can I get off of punishment now?" And I'm like, "Listen, I don't circle the block. I'm sorry."
Right. You did this to yourself. You punished yourself on this one, dude. Like,
Right.
the
So
way it works.
anyway, I got my star rating back up. So hopefully, I'll get Barber of the Year, because there's benefits in that. Like, you don't have to pay like your monthly payment for your membership, and then like they push you to the top when it's time to search. You're top of the search search
So that's
menu on
big.
Google.
That's huge
Yeah,
for
so,
acquisition right there, dude. That's
yeah,
big.
and then they also fill in all of your empty spots with new clients. So,
Cool. Okay, so that's a
and I
great
also
system for you.
yeah, and I also reached out to them because they listened to me too, and so I reached out to them and I was like, they need to make it an optional thing to take new clients, because sometimes they give me too many and my old clients can't get in. So
Right.
you can turn it on and off, and they ask you like, hey, we have a new client for you, would you like to take them? And, yeah,
Okay,
if I
so they
do, then
ask instead of just throwing them in there. That's big.
Mhm.
That's a big feature because yeah, I mean, back to what I said earlier, there's always an issue with the new client. You're like, I can't
Mhm.
handle issues today. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna handle my guys today. So
And there's certain clients, I won't say what type of client, but there's certain clients that I see when it comes up, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a lot.
right. No doubt, no doubt.
This
It
is going
just
to be a
says
lot.
lineup
Or,
only. Has it ever just been a lineup only? Do you offer a lineup only?
well, okay, it's usually for me, like the female clients that want to message you 30 messages before they even book the appointment. Like, they're like,
Oh god, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
right.
And then they
Or
cancel
if
the
they're
day of.
already, right. Or they're already talking about their past
Oh
in the
god, yeah.
messages before they book you. It's like,
There it goes.
it's like, okay, yeah, you're like, this one's going to be a lot.
So, dude, like, out of your whole journey, I'm sure you appreciated the whole journey, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, at what point of your journey were you thinking about stepping away, maybe from barbering, or was the hardest part of your journey?
Um, for me, it was like those times when like just moving to a new city and you're waiting to build your clientele up, and the bills are coming and money's super tight. You eating like cans of tuna fish right out the can because you barely got any food or money, and you're like, oh, maybe I should just stop barbering and get me, maybe just stop barbering and get me a regular job, where I can, have steady paycheck. But luckily, I just pushed through. I mean, it was a time when I went to bartending school, so I was doing bartending at night, but I just never gave up on barbering. I always cut hair and like add something to it instead of just eliminating it, even though the thought might have crossed my mind a few times. But even when I
feel like a lot of barbers do that. They kind of lose sight of barbering by just getting more comfortable, with another profession. That's one of the things I didn't even put on the table for myself. Like if barbering was slow, I was just going to sit in it because I know how long I wanted to do this and what I sacrificed to do it. And like, if I just mixed in something and it's like, it's a way out of barbering, I'm not going to do it. Like if you realize how broke I was in Arizona, my wife and I, like it was, and I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed my whole time there. Like those broke years. Like, you're in school, like $20 a week in tips, and you spend it in like Red Bull, like just going to the grocery store, like, and scamming ways to make a car payment on Venmo. Like it's, you gotta sit in it. But I knew if I got back into insurance or some shit and with the State Farm, I would have got comfortable and like, you know what, maybe I'll come back to barbering later and never do it. So that's a big thing. Like people, like, how did you kind of like stay in that mindset that barbering's always going to be number one, no matter how much you try to diversify?
I don't like working for other people. So
that was my big thing, dude. This last situation of barbering, the shop went out of business. It was a great experience. They made their barbers feel good. But I told myself, this is the last time I'm working for somebody. Like, I'm not fucking starting over this whole I got to prove myself shit all over again to another superior that's going to dictate, a large part of my life and, hampering my shit with my family. And my wife's like, I'm leaving. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like, you got to, like, that's the part. Dealing with your personal life with your schedule is a tough balance. And when there's a superior kind of intervening with that constantly, like I'm not doing this shit again. Right. So, so you didn't want to work for anyone either. Yeah.
No, I don't. And I'm a nice person, but I don't think I work well with others because I just like people don't move how I want them to move. And like, I don't want anybody telling me to do something that's just not going to make sense. So it's just better to work for myself.
Yeah.
And
I'm not confrontational, but I can be stubborn and like strong-willed, like you said earlier. Like, but I'm too nice sometimes. So sometimes I might not do what I feel's right because I just don't want to step on anyone's toes or rock the boat. So I feel like the solo situation was always best for me. But yeah, dude,
I like the intimacy of working one-on-one with a client, like getting to know the person. And I feel like in our situation, a lot of our clients really get to live in their truth and be authentically who they are. They don't have to be the extra loud, rowdy person because they're in that environment. They don't have to shrink also because they're in a room full of loud, rowdy people. You know what I mean? Like, they have to really truly be themselves. You know what I mean? Because they're comfortable with this, and the space allows it. It promotes, be comfortable.
No doubt, dude. Yeah, man. One of the calling cards of this podcast, dude, has always been trying to find people that are real barbers that do real barber shit that aren't like these, let me get on here and sell you something. That we're just talking barber shit. We're being real, but real barbers. The problem with that and being a podcast host is finding these barbers because all of them are introverted. They're a real barber if they kind of like trying to like put it off a little bit. They're trying. I'm like, no, come on, man. I get it. I'm introverted too. It's weird because I wouldn't consider myself social. Like once I'm out of that environment in the shop, I don't really like to talk to a lot of people. At the same time, I
Same,
can talk to
same.
anybody, but like I would rather not. I would rather not even go out sometimes. Like I'm a homebody, right? Like, do you feel like that? Like,
For me, I like to absolutely. I feel like I need to decompress from people sometimes. So
yeah,
I just like to be my own. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I like to decompress and go home and like just be in my own space sometimes. Sometimes I like to ride in my car without even music playing, just like silent.
right.
But I
I
know how
get that.
I know how to be social. Just prefer to like be to myself.
Right. I get that. Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, like I feel like I'm performing all day. As soon as I'm done performing, like I don't want to talk to anybody. Like I've been on here before, like I almost feel like I have to entertain when I'm barbering. Like when you come on my chair, I'm gonna try to make you laugh. I'm like a comedian that's working a bit out with every client. Like, I'm working that bit out, and then by the time they're 2 weeks is they're back, I gotta work a new bit. Like I record the special, I
Yeah, I
gotta
hear
work
them.
on new material.
I hear them laughing in my sleep.
I know I come across a real barber, and that's why it's hard to find guests that are, successful legends. Like you're a local legend, dude. Like obviously, like we can all kind of be legends behind the chair, but it's hard finding that kind of tier or that kind of,
Okay.
that kind of guest barber that,
Okay.
that still wants to talk about themselves. Like, because when
Yeah.
I talk to you, you're like, I don't know why you want to talk to me. I'm boring. It's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? You've had this long life of successes and journeys, and you've lived in Japan, and you've won awards. You've been doing your own thing for a decade in the suite, dude. I mean, you are not boring by any means. So, so with that, dude, we'll probably wrap this up for technical difficulties. Yeah, man, your journey was a beautiful one. You're crushing it, and I really appreciate you coming
Absolutely,
on
no
to here.
problem.
All right, my man. But to hear, appreciate you, my man. You have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the suites, my man. Thanks for coming on.